Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino. We're looking at a beer. This is Big Deal Brewing by Spitting Chiclets, Original Golden Ale at 4.5% alcohol by volume. Now, this one is a weird one to me. And I know that contract brewing and distributors and everything else is very, very different in the U.S. This is from Rochester, New York. Produced by High Falls Operating Company, LLC, DBA Big Deal Brewing Company, 445 St. Paul Street, Rochester, New York. What was the big, Genesee? Genesee was the big one from Rochester that I used to drink a lot. Jenny Cream Ale and stuff like that. Anytime we crossed the border, we would usually buy a whole bunch of beers for the review, me and my buddies, and I would buy like a 12-pack or a 2-4 of something Jenny because it was acceptable, but it was dirt cheap. And Rochester, New York, I had some buddies in Rochester, New York as well, and it is an interesting thing to see this, but I know things like there was a brewery, Flying Bison Brewing Company in Buffalo was owned by, was it Matt Brewing? Who did Matt Brewing's lineup was an entirely different named thing. And if you looked at a can of Flying Bison, it didn't really talk, like the US is weird in the way they do that stuff. So I don't understand this at all. I don't know if it's a contract brewery, if it's a brand off of a brand. I don't know. But Spittin' Chiclets, man, you're in the big leagues now, boys. But yeah, I don't understand why it's Big Deal Brewing by Spitting Chiclets. Like, what? I'm not in the know. I'm not in the know. I just have a beer in my hand. So let's try this Original Golden Ale at 4.5 ABV. And yeah, it's more like brassy, but it's exactly what you'd expect. Crystal clear. The head is bright white. There is a snap crackle pop. The head is frothy, yet not overly so. Scent from the can. That does not smell great. And they probably have nothing to do with each other, but that reminds me of Jenny. Like, it's like wet cardboard and a fart. And I mean, that's not saying I'm gonna dislike it. It's just what hits my head when I think about it. And like I said, I don't actually mind Jenny or anything like that. So if this is anything like Jenny, it's probably not a horrible beer. It's probably not a great beer, but it's probably not a horrible beer. The head has faded out of the glass. Out of the plastic corn thingy. Cheers, let's try it. Okay, I don't like the smell. Can't say I hate the taste. Can't say I really like the taste either, Ralph, that first sip. Yeah, it's like light-bodied, neutral graininess, slight bit of wet cardboard, and a tiny touch of hoppy bitterness. And I don't even know what I would say that is. It's not Cascade or anything. It's just this weird, it doesn't really have a flavor. It's just this weird bitterness at the back of the throat. And I say weird not because it's weird or overpowering, but weird because it doesn't really have a flavor. It's just there. Yeah, I don't... As any longtime viewer or even casual viewer might know, I never drink my beer cold. It's always room temperature, cellar temperature, whatever the case may be at that time. Be it I've kept it in my cellar or I've kept it on a floor in a room or whatever I've done. It's always been that temperature, unless it's like a case of beer that I'm just drinking with my buddies and stuff. That'll go in the fridge, but anything else usually doesn't even go in the fridge. I don't care if it's cold or not. But what I'm thinking about with this is, if this was ice cold, I don't think I'd get that wet cardboard, and I don't think that bitterness on the back of the throat would be nearly as prevalent as it is. But I think the just random neutral graininess up at the forefront would still be there. Almost like you're drinking carbonated cornflakes with a little bit of bitterness. Like, that's kind of where it is, right? Like, and again, if this was cold, I could see myself pounding back a bunch of these. Again, not an offensive flavor, not an overly powerful flavor. And unlike a lot of craft breweries, it's not an overly powerful hoppiness either. Big Deal Brewing by Spittin' Chiclet's original golden ale. I actually don't have a problem with it. I, as much as I could see myself drinking a bunch of these, I don't think I would go out of my way to buy it or actually purchase it again normally. If I found like a 12-pack of it for, I don't even know what the going price of a 12-pack is in the US anymore. It's been a long time. But let's say the 12-pack was like $20, knowing that I'm Canadian and what I pay for a 12-pack. I'd probably buy it. But other than that, I probably wouldn't. So I'm going to give it a 6.75 out of 10. There's nothing per se wrong with it. It's just your average brew. And again, the older I get, the more I just want that easy drinking average brew. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Can't forget what we've been doing for like 20 years, eh? Well, actually, it's been... Holy fuck. I started this the year my son was... So this will be like 13 and a half years this August. Wow. Wow. Bye-bye.